Question 1. What was the primary goal of the Domesday Book commissioned by William the Conqueror? A. To record the aftermath of a plague. B. To serve as a gift to the Pope. C. To assess the wealth and assets of England for taxation. D. To create a family tree for the Norman dynasty. Answer. C. To assess the wealth and assets of England for taxation. The Domesday Book was a comprehensive record of medieval England's lands and resources for administrative and tax purposes. Question 2. Which British monarch established the Church of England as the principal church in England? A. Edward VI. B. Elizabeth I. C. Henry VIII. D. James I. Answer. C. Henry VIII. Henry VIII established the Church of England, separating from the Roman Catholic Church to secure an annulment of his marriage. Question 3. What was the main outcome of the Battle of Bosworth Field in 1485? A. Victory for Richard III. B. Establishment of the Tudor dynasty by Henry VII. C. Victory for the Vikings. D. End of the Viking Age in England. Answer. B. Establishment of the Tudor dynasty by Henry VII. The Battle of Bosworth Field marked the end of the Wars of the Roses and the beginning of the Tudor dynasty. Question 4. Describe the significance of the Spanish Armada in 1588. A. It marked Spain's victory over England. B. It began England's dominance of the high seas. C. It ensured Protestantism in England. D. It led to the union of England and Spain. Answer. C. It ensured Protestantism in England. The defeat of the Spanish Armada was significant for maintaining England's independence from Spain and ensuring the continuation of Protestantism. Question 5. Who was the leader of the parliamentary forces during the English Civil War? A. Charles I. B. Oliver Cromwell. C. Richard Cromwell. D. Thomas Fairfax. Answer. B. Oliver Cromwell. Cromwell was a key figure in leading the parliamentary forces, or Roundheads, against the Royalists. Question 6. What were the main reasons behind the Glorious Revolution of 1688? A. To restore Catholicism in England. B. To secure England's colonies. C. To establish parliamentary sovereignty over the monarchy. D. To end the War of the Roses. Answer. C. To establish parliamentary sovereignty over the monarchy. The Glorious Revolution established a constitutional monarchy, ensuring the supremacy of Parliament over the Crown. Question 7. How did the Act of Settlement 1701 alter the succession to the English throne? A. It excluded Catholics from the succession. B. It established the House of Lords as the ruling body. C. It made succession dependent on parliamentary approval. D. It allowed women to inherit the throne. Answer. A. It excluded Catholics from the succession. The Act of Settlement ensured that Catholics could not ascend to the English throne, securing Protestant succession. Question 8. What was the primary economic cause of the British agricultural revolution in the 18th century? A. The introduction of potato farming. B. The enclosure movement. C. The decline of the feudal system. D. The discovery of new lands. Answer. B. The enclosure movement. Enclosure led to significant changes in agriculture, making it more efficient and contributing to the agricultural revolution. Question 9. In what year did the Great Reform Act expand the British electoral franchise? A. 1707. B. 1832. C. 1867. D. 1928. Answer. B. 1832. The Great Reform Act of 1832 expanded the electoral franchise and reformed parliamentary constituencies. Question 10. What treaty ended the American Revolutionary War, acknowledging American independence? A. The Treaty of Paris, 1783. B. The Treaty of Versailles. C. The Magna Carta. D. The Treaty of Utrecht. Answer: A. The Treaty of Paris, 1783. This treaty recognized the independence of the United States, ending the Revolutionary War. Question 11. Who is considered the father of the Royal Navy, and what were his contributions? A. Francis Drake. B. Henry VIII. C. Horatio Nelson. D. Winston Churchill. Answer: B. Henry VIII. Henry VIII is known as the father of the Royal Navy for his significant investments in naval expansion and reform. Question 12. Detail the social and political impact of the Chartist movement. A. It led directly to women's suffrage. B. It resulted in the immediate overthrow of the monarchy. C. It paved the way for future electoral reforms and workers' rights. D. It had no significant impact. Answer: C. It paved the way for future electoral reforms and workers' rights. The Chartist movement was crucial in advocating for democratic reforms and social justice, influencing later political changes. Question 13. What led to the repeal of the Corn Laws in 1846? A. Military defeat. B. Pressure from industrialists and the working class. C. A surplus of corn. D. The outbreak of disease. Answer: B. Pressure from industrialists and the working class. The repeal was influenced by economic arguments for free trade and pressures from various social groups. Question 14. Explain the British government's response to the Irish potato famine. A. Comprehensive relief efforts. B. Forced emigration. C. Limited and criticized for being inadequate. D. Immediate agricultural reform. Answer: C. Limited and criticized for being inadequate. The government's response to the famine was widely regarded as insufficient, exacerbating the tragedy. Question 15. What were the implications of the Public Health Act 1848 for urban areas in Britain? A. It led to the immediate eradication of all diseases. B. It mandated the construction of public parks. C. It introduced measures for sanitary reform and public health administration. D. It banned industrial activities in urban areas. Answer: C. It introduced measures for sanitary reform and public health administration. The Act was a foundational step towards modern public health policy in urban areas. Question 16. Who was responsible for the creation of the Metropolitan Police Service in London, and in what year? A. Robert Peel, 1829. B. Winston Churchill, 1940. C. Elizabeth I, 1588. D. Charles Dickens, 1850. Answer: A. Robert Peel, 1829. Sir Robert Peel established the Metropolitan Police Service, introducing modern policing methods. Question 17. What event in 1854 to 1856 marked the first conflict fought primarily on ideological grounds between major powers in Europe? A. The English Civil War. B. The Battle of Waterloo. C. The Crimean War. D. World War I. Answer: C. The Crimean War. This war was among the first to be influenced significantly by ideologies, pitting alliances of major European powers against each other. Question 18. Describe the main achievements of the Victorian era's social reform movements. A. The abolition of slavery throughout the British Empire. B. The establishment of universal health care. C. The legalization of trade unions and improvement of working conditions. D. The end of monarchy in Britain. Answer: C. The legalization of trade unions and improvement of working conditions. The Victorian era was marked by significant social reforms, including better working conditions and the rise of trade unions. Question 19. What was the significance of the Second Reform Act of 1867? A. It granted voting rights to all men and women over the age of 21. B. It abolished the monarchy and established a republic. C. It extended the vote to urban working-class men. D. It restricted voting rights to property owners only. Answer: C. It extended the vote to urban working-class men. The Second Reform Act significantly widened the electoral franchise, marking a step towards universal suffrage. Question 20. Who was the first woman to qualify as a doctor in Britain, and in what year? A. Elizabeth Garrett Anderson, 1865. B. Marie Curie, 1903. C. Florence Nightingale, 1854. D. Rosalind Franklin, 1951. Answer: A. Elizabeth Garrett Anderson, 1865. Elizabeth Garrett Anderson was the first woman to qualify as a doctor in Britain, breaking significant gender barriers in the medical profession. Question 21. Detail the implications of the Third Reform Act of 1884 to 1885. A. It extended the vote to all men and women over the age of 21. B. It significantly expanded the rural male electorate, aligning it more closely with urban voting rights. C. It abolished the House of Lords. D. It restricted voting rights to only those in the military. Answer: B. It significantly expanded the rural male electorate, aligning it more closely with urban voting rights. The Third Reform Act was a crucial step towards equalizing the electoral system between urban and rural areas in Britain. Question 22. What role did Britain play in the partition of Africa at the end of the 19th century? A. Britain played a minimal role, focusing instead on Asia. B. It led humanitarian efforts to improve living conditions in Africa. C. Britain was a key player in the scramble for Africa, establishing colonies and protectorates. D. It worked to unite African territories into a single state. Answer: C. Britain was a key player in the scramble for Africa, establishing colonies and protectorates. The partition of Africa among European powers was significantly influenced by Britain's imperial ambitions. Question 23. Explain the causes and outcomes of the Boer Wars. A. They were fought over religious differences, resulting in the establishment of a new church. B. The wars were primarily about control of gold and diamond resources in South Africa, leading to British victory and control over the Boer republics. C. The conflicts were initiated by disputes over land rights with no significant outcomes. D. The Boer Wars led to the independence of South African colonies from British rule. Answer: B. The wars were primarily about control of gold and diamond resources in South Africa, leading to British victory and control over the Boer republics. The Boer Wars marked a turning point in British imperial policy and had lasting effects on the region. Question 24. What were the primary factors that led to the formation of the Labour Party? A. The desire to support the monarchy and aristocracy. B. The need for a political party that represented the working class and trade union movement. C. A split within the Conservative Party. D. Pressure from foreign governments. Answer: B. The need for a political party that represented the working class and trade union movement. The Labour Party was founded as a political representation of the labour unions and the working class, aiming to address social inequalities. Question 25. How did World War I affect the British Empire and its global influence? A. It significantly expanded the British Empire's territory. B. The war had no noticeable effect on the British Empire. C. It weakened the British Empire financially and militarily, leading to the beginning of decolonization. D. It led to the unification of all European empires under British rule. Answer. C. It weakened the British Empire financially and militarily, leading to the beginning of decolonization. World War I marked the start of a decline in British imperial power, with significant human and economic costs. Question 26. What was the purpose of the Balfour Declaration of 1917? A. To announce the independence of India from British rule. B. To support the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. C. To declare war on Germany. D. To outline the terms for the end of World War I. Answer. B. To support the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. The Balfour Declaration represented a significant shift in British policy and had long-term implications for the Middle East. Question 27. How did the Representation of the People Act 1918 change British society? A. It banned all political parties except the Conservative Party. B. It allowed only men to vote. C. It significantly expanded the electorate, including giving the vote to women over 30 who met certain requirements. D. It established a communist government in Britain. Answer. C. It significantly expanded the electorate, including giving the vote to women over 30 who met certain requirements. This act was a landmark in the democratization of Britain, paving the way for universal suffrage. Question 28. What were the economic impacts of the 1926 general strike in Britain? A. It led to immediate economic prosperity. B. The strike had no impact on the economy. C. It caused significant disruption to the British economy, particularly in coal mining, leading to governmental intervention. D. It resulted in the collapse of the British banking system. Answer. C. It caused significant disruption to the British economy, particularly in coal mining, leading to governmental intervention. The general strike was a crucial event in British labour history, highlighting tensions between workers and the government. Question 29. Who were the key figures in the establishment of the National Health Service, NHS, in 1948? A. Margaret Thatcher and Winston Churchill. B. Aneurin Bevan and Clement Attlee. C. Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. D. Neville Chamberlain and Anthony Eden. Answer. B. Aneurin Bevan and Clement Attlee. Aneurin Bevan, the Minister of Health, with support from Prime Minister Clement Attlee, played pivotal roles in the establishment of the NHS, providing free healthcare to all UK citizens. Question 30. Detail the reasons behind the Suez Crisis of 1956 and its impact on British foreign policy. A. The UK sought to protect its economic interests in the Suez Canal, leading to international conflict and a reassessment of its role on the world stage. B. It was a misunderstanding with no lasting effects. C. The crisis stemmed from Britain's desire to annex Egypt. D. It was solely about oil supply routes with no real impact on foreign policy. Answer. A. The UK sought to protect its economic interests in the Suez Canal, leading to international conflict and a reassessment of its role on the world stage. The Suez Crisis marked the decline of Britain's imperial power and necessitated a shift in its foreign policy. Question 31. How did the Windrush generation contribute to British society after World War II? A. By leading political reforms. B. Through significant contributions to the labour force and cultural diversity. C. By introducing new agricultural techniques. D. They did not contribute to British society. Answer. B. Through significant contributions to the labour force and cultural diversity. The Windrush generation, migrants from the Caribbean, played a key role in post-war reconstruction efforts and enriched British culture. Question 32. What was the significance of the decolonisation process for the British Empire in the 20th century? A. It led to the expansion of the empire. B. It marked the transition from an empire to a commonwealth of nations, signalling the end of Britain's imperial dominance. C. It had no significant impact on the British Empire. D. It resulted in the recolonisation of former territories. Answer. B. It marked the transition from an empire to a commonwealth of nations, signalling the end of Britain's imperial dominance. Decolonisation significantly reduced the size and power of the British Empire, transforming its relationship with former colonies. Question 33. How did the 1960s swinging London Cultural Revolution impact Britain and the world? A. It isolated Britain culturally from the rest of the world. B. It had a profound influence on music, fashion, and attitudes towards youth and freedom globally. C. It led to economic decline in Britain. D. Its impact was limited to London and did not affect the wider world. Answer. B. It had a profound influence on music, fashion, and attitudes towards youth and freedom globally. Swinging London positioned Britain at the forefront of cultural innovation during the 1960s. Question 34. What were the key outcomes of the Northern Ireland Troubles and the peace process? A. The reunification of Ireland. B. Ongoing conflict with no resolution. C. The Good Friday Agreement, leading to a significant reduction in violence and new political structures. D. The establishment of Northern Ireland as an independent country. Answer. C. The Good Friday Agreement, leading to a significant reduction in violence and new political structures. The peace process, culminating in the Good Friday Agreement of 1998, was a milestone in resolving the conflict in Northern Ireland. Question 35. Explain the significance of the Falklands War for Britain's international standing. A. It demonstrated Britain's military weakness. B. The war had no impact on Britain's international relations. C. It reaffirmed Britain's commitment to defending its territories and strengthened its global military reputation. D. It led to Britain's isolation from international affairs. Answer. C. It reaffirmed Britain's commitment to defending its territories and strengthened its global military reputation. The Falklands War in 1982 was significant for reasserting Britain's ability to conduct overseas military operations. Question 36. What were the main social and economic policies of Margaret Thatcher's government? A. Expansion of the welfare state. B. Privatisation of state-owned industries and deregulation of the economy. C. Nationalisation of key industries. D. Implementation of strict socialist policies. Answer. B. Privatisation of state-owned industries and deregulation of the economy. Margaret Thatcher's tenure was marked by a shift towards free market policies, reducing the role of the state in the economy. Question 37. How did the Good Friday Agreement of 1998 address the conflict in Northern Ireland? A. By establishing Northern Ireland as an independent state. B. It didn't address the conflict. Violence continued unabated. C. Through the establishment of a power-sharing government and disarmament measures. T. By fully integrating Northern Ireland into the Republic of Ireland. Answer: C. Through the establishment of a power-sharing government and disarmament measures. The Good Friday Agreement was a groundbreaking peace accord that aimed to bring an end to the decades-long conflict in Northern Ireland. Question 38. What led to the devolution referendums in Scotland and Wales in the late 1990s? A. Demands for independence from the UK. B. A desire to join the European Union independently. C. Calls for greater autonomy and self-governance within the UK. D. Economic crises specific to Scotland and Wales. Answer: C. Calls for greater autonomy and self-governance within the UK. The referendums were a response to growing demands for devolved powers, leading to the establishment of the Scottish Parliament and the Welsh Assembly. Question 39. How did the Human Rights Act 1998 affect UK law? A. It restricted the rights and freedoms of individuals. B. It incorporated the European Convention on Human Rights into UK law, allowing individuals to challenge human rights breaches in UK courts. C. It abolished all previous UK human rights legislation. D. It had no significant impact on UK law. Answer: B. It incorporated the European Convention on Human Rights into UK law, allowing individuals to challenge human rights breaches in UK courts. The Act significantly enhanced the protection of human rights in the UK. Question 40. What were the main reasons behind the UK's decision to not adopt the euro currency? A. Fear of losing control over national monetary policy. B. A referendum that strongly favoured keeping the pound sterling. C. Lack of public interest in changing currencies. D. The euro was deemed economically unstable. Answer: A. Fear of losing control over national monetary policy. The decision to keep the pound sterling was largely driven by concerns over sovereignty and economic stability. Question 41. Detail the causes and consequences of the 2008 financial crisis in the UK. A. It was caused by a surplus in government spending and led to a brief period of economic prosperity. B. Triggered by a global banking crisis, it resulted in a significant recession, government bailouts of banks, and austerity measures. C. It originated from a decline in the manufacturing sector and resulted in the UK switching to the euro. D. The crisis was due to excessive exports, leading to inflation and ultimately the strengthening of the pound. Answer: B. Triggered by a global banking crisis, it resulted in a significant recession, government bailouts of banks, and austerity measures. The 2008 financial crisis had profound effects on the UK's economy, leading to increased unemployment and public sector cuts. Question 42. What was the impact of the 2012 London Olympics on the city and the country? A. It led to a significant decrease in tourism. B. The Olympics had no noticeable impact on London or the UK. C. It resulted in widespread urban regeneration, increased international tourism, and a boost to the national economy. D. The event was financially disastrous for London, leading to long-term debt. Answer: C. It resulted in widespread urban regeneration, increased international tourism, and a boost to the national economy. The 2012 London Olympics were notable for their legacy of improving infrastructure and promoting sport across the UK. Question 43. How has the concept of British identity evolved in the context of multiculturalism? A. It has become more inclusive, recognizing the diverse cultures and ethnicities that contribute to modern British society. B. British identity has reverted to traditional 18th century values. C. Multiculturalism has had no impact on British identity. D. There has been a movement to exclude non-English cultures from British identity. Answer: A. It has become more inclusive, recognizing the diverse cultures and ethnicities that contribute to modern British society. The evolution of British identity reflects the changing demographics and cultural landscape of the UK. Question 44. What are the legal implications of Brexit for the UK's relationship with the EU? A. The UK retained its EU membership, but with reduced influence. B. Brexit had no legal implications, it was purely symbolic. C. It led to the UK leaving the EU, necessitating the renegotiation of trade agreements and laws that had been based on EU membership. D. The UK immediately adopted EU laws as its own. Answer. C. It led to the UK leaving the EU, necessitating the renegotiation of trade agreements and laws that had been based on EU membership. Brexit represents a significant legal and political shift, impacting many aspects of UK-EU relations. Question 45. How has the UK addressed climate change on the international stage? A. By withdrawing from all international climate agreements. B. Through active participation in agreements like the Paris Accord and committing to reduce carbon emissions. C. The UK has not acknowledged climate change as a genuine issue. D. By promoting the use of fossil fuels internationally. Answer. B. Through active participation in agreements like the Paris Accord and committing to reduce carbon emissions. The UK has played a significant role in global efforts to combat climate change, including hosting the UN Climate Change Conference, COP26. Question 46. What challenges has the NHS faced in the 21st century, particularly regarding funding and demand? A. There have been no significant challenges. The NHS has consistently operated with a surplus. B. The main challenge has been dealing with a decrease in demand for services. C. Challenges include funding shortfalls, increasing demand from an aging population, and the impacts of austerity measures. D. The NHS has struggled primarily with overstaffing and inefficiency. Answer. C. Challenges include funding shortfalls, increasing demand from an aging population, and the impacts of austerity measures. The NHS faces significant pressure to maintain service levels amidst growing patient needs and financial constraints. Question 47. Describe the significance of the Battle of Agincourt in English history. A. It was a minor skirmish with France that had little historical impact. B. The battle marked the end of English attempts to control territories in France. C. It was a decisive English victory in the 100 Years' War, celebrated for the effectiveness of the English longbow. D. Agincourt resulted in England losing its territories in France. Answer. C. It was a decisive English victory in the 100 Years' War, celebrated for the effectiveness of the English longbow. The Battle of Agincourt in 1415 is famous for its demonstration of English military prowess and tactical innovation. Question 48. How did the Acts of Union 1707 and 1800 shape the United Kingdom? A. They dissolved the union between England and Scotland. B. The Acts unified England and Scotland, 1707, and later added Ireland, 1800, to create the United Kingdom, shaping its territorial and political structure. C. They led to the independence of Wales from England. D. The Acts were solely economic agreements with no political or territorial implications. Answer. B. The Acts unified England and Scotland, 1707, and later added Ireland, 1800, to create the United Kingdom, shaping its territorial and political structure. These unions were pivotal in forming the UK's current political landscape and national identity. Question 49. What role did Britain play in the abolition of the slave trade? A. Britain was the last European country to abolish the slave trade. B. It had no significant role and continued the practice until the 20th century. C. Britain led the way in abolishing the slave trade in 1807 and subsequently worked to enforce the ban internationally. D. Britain only abolished the slave trade under pressure from other nations. Answer. C. Britain led the way in abolishing the slave trade in 1807 and subsequently worked to enforce the ban internationally. The British abolition movement was a critical force in ending the transatlantic slave trade, reflecting a significant shift in moral and political attitudes. Question 50. Detail the contributions of British scientists to the development of modern science and technology. A. British scientists have contributed primarily in the field of classical literature. B. Contributions include Isaac Newton's laws of motion, Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, and Tim Berners-Lee's invention of the World Wide Web. C. Their contributions have been limited to the social sciences. D. British scientists have focused exclusively on medical research, with no contributions to other fields. Answer. B. Contributions include Isaac Newton's laws of motion, Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, and Tim Berners-Lee's invention of the World Wide Web. The UK has a rich history of scientific achievement that has significantly impacted various fields of study and modern life. Question 51. Explain the historical context and impact of the Magna Carta. A. It established the British Empire's territorial claims. B. Signed in 1215, it limited the power of the monarchy and laid the foundation for modern democracy and legal rights. C. It was a peace treaty that ended the 100 Years' War. D. It served as the original constitution of the United Kingdom. Answer. B. Signed in 1215, it limited the power of the monarchy and laid the foundation for modern democracy and legal rights. The Magna Carta is a cornerstone of British constitutional and legal history, influencing the development of legal systems worldwide. Question 52. How did the Industrial Revolution transform British society and economy? A. It led to a decline in industrial activity and economic recession. B. The revolution marked a shift from agrarian economies to industrial and urban, significantly boosting economic growth and changing social structures. C. It isolated Britain economically from the rest of Europe. D. It had no significant impact, as it was limited to minor technological changes. Answer. B. The revolution marked a shift from agrarian economies to industrial and urban, significantly boosting economic growth and changing social structures. The Industrial Revolution began in Britain and had profound effects on the economy, society, and the global landscape. Question 53. What was the impact of British colonial policies on India? A. They had a minimal impact, as Britain was primarily focused on Africa. B. Policies led to significant economic exploitation, cultural changes, and played a role in the eventual push for Indian independence. C. British policies improved economic conditions in India without any negative consequences. D. They resulted in the unification of India and Pakistan. Answer. B. Policies led to significant economic exploitation, cultural changes, and played a role in the eventual push for Indian independence. British colonial rule had a lasting impact on India's political, social, and economic fabric. Question 54. How has the UK's immigration policy evolved since World War II? A. It has remained unchanged, with strict restrictions on immigration. B. The policy has evolved from encouraging immigration from the Commonwealth to addressing contemporary economic needs and concerns about integration and security. C. The UK has completely closed its borders to immigrants. D. Immigration policies have solely focused on deporting those already residing in the UK. Answer B. The policy has evolved from encouraging immigration from the Commonwealth to addressing contemporary economic needs and concerns about integration and security. UK immigration policy has changed significantly over the decades, reflecting shifts in political, economic, and social attitudes. Question 55. What factors contributed to the rise of the British Empire? A. The empire's expansion was accidental and not driven by any specific factors. B. Key factors included maritime exploration and trade, military conquests, and the establishment of colonies and trading posts around the world. C. The rise was solely due to the industrial prowess of Britain. D. It was primarily due to alliances with other European empires. Answer B. Key factors included maritime exploration and trade, military conquests, and the establishment of colonies and trading posts around the world. The British Empire's growth was driven by economic interests, strategic positioning, and a desire to spread influence. Question 56. How did the Battle of Trafalgar influence British naval dominance? A. It led to the decline of the Royal Navy. B. The victory at Trafalgar in 1805 ensured British naval supremacy for over a century and secured Britain from invasion. C. The battle had no significant impact on naval power. D. It resulted in Britain losing control of its overseas territories. Answer B. The victory at Trafalgar in 1805 ensured British naval supremacy for over a century and secured Britain from invasion. The battle is celebrated for affirming the Royal Navy's superiority and protecting Britain during the Napoleonic Wars. Question 57. What was the significance of the Reform Acts in expanding democracy in Britain? A. They restricted voting rights to a select few. B. The Reform Acts progressively expanded the electoral franchise, making the political system more representative of the British population. C. The Acts abolished the Parliament. D. They had no impact on democracy and were purely ceremonial. Answer B. The Reform Acts progressively expanded the electoral franchise, making the political system more representative of the British population. These acts were crucial in the gradual development of democracy in the UK. Question 58. Detail the impact of the Great Fire of London on urban development. A. It led to stricter building codes and the development of a more modern London. B. The fire had little impact, with the city quickly returning to its original state. C. It resulted in the abandonment of London as the capital of England. D. The fire prompted the move of the capital to Birmingham. Answer A. It led to stricter building codes and the development of a more modern London. The Great Fire of 1666 destroyed much of the medieval city, leading to rebuilding efforts that shaped the future layout and architecture of London. Question 59. How did the UK contribute to the establishment of the United Nations? A. The UK opposed the formation of the UN. B. As a founding member, the UK played a significant role in the establishment and early years of the UN, hosting the first meeting and helping to draft the Charter. C. The UK's contribution was limited to providing a location for UN headquarters. D. The UK was involved only as a member of the audience during the establishment of the UN. Answer B. As a founding member, the UK played a significant role in the establishment and early years of the UN, hosting the first meeting and helping to draft the Charter. The UK's involvement was pivotal in shaping the principles and structure of the UN. Question 60. What were the effects of the Enclosure Acts on rural communities in England? A. They improved the living conditions of rural workers. B. The Acts facilitated agricultural innovation, but also led to the displacement of peasant farmers, contributing to urban migration and social unrest. C. They had no impact on rural communities. D. The Enclosure Acts resulted in widespread afforestation. Answer B. The Acts facilitated agricultural innovation, but also led to the displacement of peasant farmers, contributing to urban migration and social unrest. The Enclosure Acts significantly changed the landscape of rural England, with long-term social and economic effects. Question 61. What was the significance of the Elizabethan era to the development of the arts in England? A. It marked a period of decline in artistic expression. B. The era is known for significant advancements in science, with little impact on the arts. C. This period saw a flourishing of English drama, poetry, and music, notably the works of William Shakespeare. D. It exclusively focused on developing architectural styles, with no contributions to other art forms. Answer C. This period saw a flourishing of English drama, poetry, and music, notably the works of William Shakespeare. The Elizabethan era was a golden age of English culture, with Shakespeare's plays contributing significantly to the development of English literature and the arts. Question 62. How did the Glorious Revolution of 1688 change the English political landscape? A. It reinforced the absolute power of the monarchy. B. It led to the establishment of a republic. C. The revolution established the constitutional monarchy and parliamentary sovereignty in England. D. It resulted in England's loss of its colonies. Answer C. The revolution established the constitutional monarchy and parliamentary sovereignty in England. The Glorious Revolution significantly shifted power from the monarchy to Parliament, laying the foundation for modern British democracy. Question 63. Detail the causes and effects of the Jacobite rebellions. A. The rebellions were caused by disputes over colonial territories and had no lasting effects. B. They were prompted by efforts to restore the Stuart monarchy, leading to significant military confrontations, but ultimately the consolidation of the Hanoverian dynasty. C. The main cause was economic depression, and the effect was the modernization of England's economy. D. The rebellions led to the unification of England and Scotland. Answer B. They were prompted by efforts to restore the Stuart monarchy, leading to significant military confrontations, but ultimately the consolidation of the Hanoverian dynasty. The Jacobite rebellions were a series of attempts to reclaim the throne for the descendants of James II, impacting British politics and society. Question 64. What were the main challenges and outcomes of the British suffrage movement? A. The movement faced no significant challenges and was quickly successful. B. Challenges included legal barriers and societal resistance, leading to the eventual extension of voting rights to women through a series of legislative acts. C. The movement's main challenge was internal disagreement, leading to its dissolution without achieving its goals. D. It focused solely on economic equality, ignoring the right to vote. Answer B. Challenges included legal barriers and societal resistance, leading to the eventual extension of voting rights to women through a series of legislative acts. The suffrage movement was pivotal in securing the right to vote for women, marking a significant milestone in the fight for gender equality. Question 65. How did the Treaty of Utrecht, 1713, affect British territorial gains? A. It resulted in significant land losses for Britain in Europe. B. The treaty had no impact on British territories. C. It marked the beginning of British control over the slave trade. D. Britain gained significant territories, including Gibraltar, and access to the slave trade, enhancing its naval and commercial power. Answer D. Britain gained significant territories, including Gibraltar, and access to the slave trade, enhancing its naval and commercial power. The Treaty of Utrecht was a turning point in British imperial expansion, consolidating its status as a leading world power. Question 66. Describe the impact of the Enclosure Acts on rural communities in England. A. They led to widespread prosperity and economic equality in rural areas. B. The Acts resulted in the displacement of many rural inhabitants, transforming agricultural practices and contributing to urban migration. C. Enclosure Acts protected common lands from being used, preserving medieval farming practices. D. The legislation had no significant effect on rural life or agriculture. Answer. B. The Acts resulted in the displacement of many rural inhabitants, transforming agricultural practices and contributing to urban migration. The Enclosure Acts fundamentally altered the landscape of rural England, pushing many towards the cities and changing the social fabric of the countryside. Question 67. Explain the significance of the Commonwealth to the UK's foreign policy. A. It restricts the UK's ability to engage with non-Commonwealth countries. B. The Commonwealth plays a central role in the UK's international relations, promoting values of democracy, development, and cultural exchange. C. The Commonwealth is purely ceremonial, with no impact on foreign policy. D. It serves as a military alliance against the EU. Answer. B. The Commonwealth plays a central role in the UK's international relations, promoting values of democracy, development, and cultural exchange. The Commonwealth of Nations, while not a political union, significantly influences the UK's approach to global diplomacy and development. Question 68. Detail the impact of the Beveridge Report on post-war British society. A. It led to the immediate dismantling of the welfare state. B. The report's recommendations were largely ignored by the government. C. It laid the groundwork for the establishment of the welfare state, including the creation of the NHS. D. The report focused exclusively on military defence strategies. Answer. C. It laid the groundwork for the establishment of the welfare state, including the creation of the NHS. The Beveridge Report was instrumental in shaping the direction of post-war social policy in Britain, advocating for comprehensive social insurance and public health services. Question 69. What role did Britain play in the Cold War? A. Britain was neutral throughout the Cold War. B. It served as a mediator between the United States and the Soviet Union. C. As a key ally of the United States, Britain played a significant role in the Western Bloc strategies against the Soviet Union. D. Britain aligned with the Soviet Union against Western interests. Answer. C. As a key ally of the United States, Britain played a significant role in the Western Bloc strategies against the Soviet Union. Britain's strategic position and actions were crucial in the context of NATO and the broader Western alliance during the Cold War. Question 70. How did the introduction of the welfare state change British society? A. It led to the collapse of the British economy. B. The welfare state introduction resulted in increased social mobility, reduced poverty, and improved public health and education. C. Society became more divided, with increased class tensions. D. There was a significant backlash that led to its immediate repeal. Answer. B. The welfare state introduction resulted in increased social mobility, reduced poverty, and improved public health and education. The establishment of the welfare state marked a transformative period in British history, fundamentally changing the relationship between the government and its citizens.